This is the 2025 Range Rover Velar Dynamic SE. And in today's Vehicle Visionary video, I'm going to give you the ultimate tour. Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. Today I'm at Land Rover of Shreveport. As always, if you want to know more about the Range Rover Velar I'm showing you, check out the link down in the description of the video if you want to come in and buy it. The exterior color is Carpathian gray and it has an ebony interior. As far as helping you out to see after dark, we're looking at full LED lighting. We're going to have our LED headlights, LED daytime running lights, plenty of ability to see after dark, no problem. And for those who might say, you know, Tom, I really want a Range Rover, but I don't want a sport. I don't need something that big. I don't want a Range Rover. I don't want that big of a price. This is a good option for you. You're still going to find the same basic look on this Velar that you would find on those other models. Just maybe need a little more space than the Evoque. This is a good option for you, that's for sure. All-wheel drive comes standard. Now, let's talk about our tire and wheel size here. I do want to show you something very important here. First of all, we have 265 on the width, a 40 series sidewall, wrapped around 22-inch wheels. These are the optional 22-inch wheels. And before somebody jumps in the comment section and says, those aren't 22-inch wheels, I hope you can see right there that it does indeed say 22. They are optional. Like I say, I know the standard size is smaller than that, but I always want to make sure you know what's here. And here is the remote. Nothing changing here as far as 2025 goes, but you do still have your nice sturdy remote. It's going to get the job done for you. And when you lock the interior, a few things are going to happen. First of all, your power folding side view mirrors will either fold or unfold when you unlock. You can see that you have the turn signal indicators built in. They're power adjustable. You also have your blind spot monitoring built in. And we'll have the deployable handles for the doors. That's going to help out with aerodynamics, and it just has a nice cool effect to it. Maybe earn some cool points right there because it's a little bit different. Not a lot of vehicles out there have such a thing. We will have a very clean look here with the rear window because of the fact that the rear window wiper is concealed away here within the rear roof spoiler, which, by the way, does have a nice sporty look to it and give you a couple of different angles to look at there. Also your shark fin antenna up there. We'll finish things off here with Carpathian gray. I think personally the gloss black really pops on this particular model, maybe more so than it does on a lot of others. Maybe not quite as good as Fuji white, but it does look nice here. That way we don't have too much of one color. At least that's my particular opinion on that. Under the hood is the singular engine offering for the 25 Velar. It's a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. It makes 247 horsepower and 269 pounds-feet of torque, and it's mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. What about the MPGs? We're looking at 22 city, 26 highway, 23 combined, and 4.3 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. How about your gas tank size? It's going to be 21.6 gallons. You don't have capless fuel fill. I know a lot of people would rather not have capless fuel fill. You could remove that gas cap and put in a locking gas cap just to give you a little more peace of mind if that's something you desire. And if you happen to wish to tow with your Velar, you can tow up to about 5,000 pounds. And how about our cargo capacity? 34.4 up to a max of 62.7 cubic feet. You can lower the seats to maximize cargo capacity, but there is another way you can also help yourself out when it comes to cargo space with those seats. I'll show you what that is in just a second. And it's a little hard to raise the floor all the way up, and I'm going to show you right here. You can see that there's a spare tire. I promise there's more than just half of a spare tire. Good to know that's here. Your 12-volt power outlet is also here, as you can see right there. And we have some hangers as well. We've got one right here. Now there is a removable, if you so desire to remove it, cargo cover right here. So that's available, pretty easy to deal with as far as getting that in and out of place. I say it is, and then I struggle with that. I'm going to take a little closer look into the interior, starting with the door panel here on the driver's side. Obviously the passenger side will be identical. Plenty of room with the upper armrest in the windowsill area, but also down here in the more conventional area. It does seem to be pretty comfortable. If you push into it, it doesn't seem to be as soft as it feels when you actually put your arm on there. We'll also have the bottle holder or door bin right here. And what was I talking about earlier about that additional way to use this area? Well, there's a button right here that allows you to fold down the middle seat only and create a pass-through. So if that's something you need, that's something you have. And a panoramic sunroof, that's going to be a standard feature here. So you also have the ability to slide that front portion open. It is power, and you also have a power shade that can be drawn back and forth depending on what you need to do. Now this is as far as the seats go back. They do have a little bit of recline built into them, but that's as much as you're going to get, just the way that it is on this particular model of Range Rover. And we'll also find some additional space for storage on the back of both seats in the way of the rear seat pockets, in addition to having the air conditioning vents, one of those highly sought after features based on comments that are often left on my videos, and some more connectivity, a couple of USBs, and then we'll find the second 12-volt power outlet. As far as what we have here, there's a quick look for those who might want to know what it looks like from this vantage point, as far as just looking up at the sky through that panoramic sunroof. And for those who are saying, what's the sticker price? $75,905 at Land Rover of Shreveport. Let's see what else you get for that price. You're gonna have power seats for the driver and the passenger, comfortable seating, nice bolstering here in case you want to take a corner a little faster than your passengers may expect. And we'll have the glove box here. Now, unlike some of the other Range Rover models out there, you don't have the upper glove box here. So, in case you were curious about that, no, it's not there. But I don't think that's too big of a deal for most people. And we'll have the silver finish for our handles for the doors. Seat memory for the driver's side here, only on the driver's side, but you have 3 different settings. Really, that's probably the best place for it. Although at this price point, I think you should have it on the driver and passenger side. Here are the controls for your side view mirrors and the windows. You can lock and unlock the windows right there. And if you want to adjust the tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel, here's the control for doing that. On the right-hand side of the steering wheel, in the nice digital instrument cluster, there's a lot of different information you can bring up on there if you so desire to do so, depending on what you want. You do have a head-up display as well that's probably a little hard to see. I don't know, you can kind of see it up there, I think, but it is there. And you'll also find your controls here for your lights, headlights and taillights, and even your blinkers, the thing that people most save on their vehicles, at least based on who I drive around, because they don't use them, so the bulbs last forever. Front and rear window wipers right here. Can't say anything funny or sarcastic about that. You do have your shifter paddles on the steering wheel right here for gearing up or gearing down through the 8-speed automatic transmission. And you can see the LED lighting. You know it's LED because it's flickering like that. Anytime you see that flickering effect in one of these videos on YouTube, it's because of the camera. They're not really doing that in real time. The camera just picks it up that way. A lot of these cameras that we use here on YouTube will do that. And the Pivi Pro infotainment screen. A lot going on here. I really like this system because it has a nice modern look and feel. In my opinion, I could describe it as having a luxurious look. At least that's my thought with it. The one thing that I wish Range Rover, Land Rover would do different, in my opinion, is you still need some physical controls here. I know it has a very clean look. You've got your shifter here, easy to deal with because it fits in the palm of my hand at least very well. We can push the P to go back into park right there. But I would rather have the ability to adjust my air conditioner here somewhere. Just my thought on the matter. But everybody's different about that. Some people might say, you know, Tom, I really like the clean look that provides. You just have to go in here to make your adjustments. We only have heated seats. We do have the adjustments for everything you would expect to find here on the driver or the passenger side. So pretty easy to deal with. You can see we have that over there on the passenger side as well. But it is a very simple system to use no matter what. And when it comes to the vehicle, if you want to turn the auto stop start feature off or on, you can do it right there. You can see some of the other features that we have here. How about our driving modes? Well, you have dynamic, comfort, eco, grass, gravel, and snow, sand, mud, and ruts. And we can go in and make changes where that's concerned, and you're going to see some changes take place here on the screen. You'll also feel the vehicle changing height on its air suspension depending on what mode you go into. We have eco mode right there. I'll just go ahead and run through these and show you what happens on the screen. The Velar itself doesn't actually change, but the background will change a little bit depending on what driving mode you are in. Easy to deal with. Everything here as far as navigation goes, it may look a little complicated, but it's really not. Once you start getting in here and learning how to use it, you really don't have any trouble doing so. You can see what else is here and how easy it is to learn and use. You'll wirelessly pair your phone. You do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto here if you wish to use one of those, depending on the type of phone you have. And let me go into reverse. There's a couple of different ways we can bring up our multiple camera views, but you can see that we do have several different views depending on what we need to see. Makes life a little bit easier. So there you go with that. You can also use the off-road view right there. And so you can see things a little differently depending on what it is you need to see off-road or on-road. And by the way, those are not the only views. You can also see around the vehicle depending on where you want to see and what you want to see. You can go all the way around and see from every possible angle. So if you're in a tight spot, maybe someone parked too close to you, maybe you parked too close to them, and you don't want to hit their vehicle, well, there's how you alleviate that problem. So pretty easy to deal with as far as all of that goes. It's nice to have those options. And if we go down here to that gear icon, here's what you're going to find. You can make changes to the screen. If you, for some reason, want to turn the screen off, you can do that. And by the way, just as is with the case with those LED lights, with the lighting on the steering wheel for your controls, that effect you see going through the screen right there is also due to my camera. So you can see what all is here. Go into home screen right here and make changes if you want to, audio, and you can also go into all if you want to. Just makes things easy, gives you a lot of different options, super simple to deal with. Right here, we're going to have our wireless charging pad and a USB option, a little bit of space right there. And we also have our cup holders and two different options for opening the center console, two different doors basically right there. There is a reasonable amount of space within that area. And when we look at our upper console, here's where you're going to control the power shade, and you can open and close the sunroof right there, which, by the way, I did draw that shade forward just so that we can minimize the glare coming into the interior. And I mentioned ride height earlier, that it's going to change a little bit depending on what you're doing and what mode you're in and what road you're on. There we go. We can take advantage of that little tongue twist right there. I can feel the vehicle actually rising, the Velar rising up. So you can also go to access. It's going to drop it down to make it a little bit easier to get into. Not that that is an issue. It doesn't sit that high off the ground to begin with, no matter what. But you can see what's here just to show you some of the different places you can go and different features, what you can change depending on what you want to or need to do. And real quick, one more thing I know a lot of people like to know about driver assistance. You can go low, high, or custom, and when you go into custom, you can make some changes depending on what you want as far as your speed limit warning goes. And you can see what else is here. There's a few other features here as far as that goes. So depending on what you're interested in, there are the changes you can make, and you can turn some of these features on and off depending on your personal preferences. And as we get out on the road for the test drive, one important point, something I forgot to mention earlier in the video, you likely saw it. I don't remember if I showed you the controls on the seats as far as where you manage the positioning of the seat, obviously on the side in the more conventional space. But you also have lumbar support for the driver and the passenger. That's always good to know. That's a common question I get a lot of the time. Does it have lumbar support for the front seats? And the answer to that question is obviously yes. Very comfortable seating. I feel like I could be comfortable on a nice long road trip for quite a while without any trouble. These seats just seem to fit perfectly, at least for myself. And somebody who is in excess of 6 feet tall can definitely adjust things to where it wouldn't be a problem. They can be very comfortable as far as being able to fit into the interior here in the front seat and drive, no problem. Plenty of adjustability, not only with the seats, but also with the steering wheel. So while I'm 5'10" and I'm very comfortable, I don't have the seat set perfectly for myself, but I'm not going to be driving for very long. But for those who are 6 feet plus, and maybe you own a Velar, tell us down in the comments how you fit. I'm sure a lot of people would like to hear it from somebody who actually has some real world experience, some actual experience at sitting in the driver's seat, being over 6 feet tall. Now, what about the 247 horsepower? Is that enough? For me personally, I feel like it is. I don't feel like it's a big deal as far as any issues go with all of the people that might say, oh, that's not enough horsepower. You know, it's so funny. I guess we've all become somewhat spoiled over the years in driving vehicles that have a reasonable amount of power compared to what they once did decades ago, back in the 1980s, when V8s were not even making 200 horsepower in some cases. So it seems to do a good job. Getting down the road, you obviously have your multiple driving modes, not a problem. And the good thing for those of you who live in an area where you get a lot of snow and ice, this is a good option for you. You have the right driving mode for that. You also have all-wheel drive, so that's going to be a benefit in a multitude of ways. Really a great multitasking vehicle in a multitude of environments. Whether you live down here in the south where we rarely see snow, or maybe you live in an area where you see a lot of snow, it's going to get the job done. Easy to use technology that's easy to learn. I like the ease of adjustment in using the gas pedal and the brake pedal, at least by my standards. Not difficult to adjust to. Sometimes you'll find yourself in a vehicle where the brakes are very aggressive. I haven't found that to be difficult here. The gas pedal is not hard to manage. So a lot of good things that really balance out. Not hard to hop into the driver's seat and just go on down the road with no problems. You're not brake checking passengers or anything like that. And easy to see out of. That's also a nice thing that I know a lot of people really like. Now, if you did have somebody in the back seat in that middle row, well, that might change things a little bit. So having a clear sight rear view mirror would be helpful. This model doesn't have one. But if you're that person out there that's shopping for your first Range Rover, or maybe you just don't want to spend as much money as you have in the past, this is a good option because it has so many of the very same features and functions and feel that you can have on some of the models above the Velar, as I mentioned earlier in the video. Okay, tell me what you think about the 2025 Range Rover Velar Dynamic SE. That's the ultimate tour. Hope I covered everything you wanted to see. Tell me what you think down in the comments section, and if you plan to buy a Velar for 2025, what trim level, how do you want to spec it out? I do want to say a special thanks to my friends at Land Rover of Shreveport for loaning me this Velar for the day, and a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit the like button. That helps me out a lot. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you there.